Hey guys, HardlyBriefDan here with episode 50 of the Unity Make an RPG series. I'm excited to announce that I've made 50 episodes. Never thought I would do that. I also want to send out a quick thank you to everyone that's donated to my PayPal account. I don't advertise that at all. It is in the description below if you feel so inclined, but I just wanted to send a public thank you to everyone that's done so. But what we're going to do now is continue working on our battle system. We're making great progress. And what I'd like to do in this video is kind of get away from a little bit of the coding and start looking at updating our GUI. So I'm actually in our scene here, and if I go ahead and press play, we have these buttons here that we created in script, right? We have these two buttons here, normal attack, / our attack buttons, and we have this next state button. Very ugly. There's nothing in here. We're doing everything from the console. So what I want to do is change that, or slowly change it, and basically I want to show you guys how to add some GUI components to your game, and then maybe we can talk about in the next video making a menu full of your abilities and stuff like that. I'm still learning a lot about the new Unity UI and stuff, so I'm not the best, but I know how to make. I can make some layouts and stuff that keep expanding and whatnot. We can talk about that. So what we're going to do in this video is concentrate on getting a different GUI up, a new, updated, better GUI. For our turn-based battle system. So, first thing we want to do is, as you see, I've moved around our game and animator tabs up in one big, so we have a big screen here to work with, and you'll see why in just a second. But basically, what I want to do is in the hierarchy here, I'm going to go ahead and make sure you clicked in there, clicked off of everything. I am in our test scene for our battle scene, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and add a UI canvas here. So you go to Game Object UI. You can go ahead and add a canvas, and I'm going to label this battle canvas. And you can label this whatever you want. But basically what this is a paint, like an easel. Think of it, not easel, it's a canvas basically where you paint, you design your GUI. And I'm going to go ahead in the scene view, you can go ahead and see it. And it's right here. It's this big rectangle, and it matches right now, since it's set as screen space overlay, it matches the size of your game scene. So this game scene is 16 by 9, again, because I'm working on a 16 by 9 monitor. Depending on the project that you're aiming for, or the application, where you want your project to be, will determine the screen size that you're working with. But like I said, in this case, I'm working with 16 by 9, and this is my canvas. This is where I can do all my awesome artwork, and we can create a fun UI for our game. So what I like to do, what I've been doing lately in some of my projects, is create what I call a container. And what I do is I go to Game Object UI, and I create a text object, an image object. And you can do this with any object. You can create it empty and then add things to it. It's up to you. But I find doing the image is easy. So what I do is I'm dragging it to the right over here in this corner. Remember, I'm on this in the upper left-hand corner on the most right button here. It allows for snapping and basically 2D movement on this 3D space canvas kind of thing. So what I want to do is kind of move. We have this up in the right-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and expand it. I'm just going to make it 350, I guess, long, and let's say 115 wide. I just made those up. They don't matter. This is just the size of this. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead, and you see this in this rect transform, you see this little button here. I'm going to go ahead and anchor it to the upper left-hand corner. All right. So this container, what I'm calling so far, will be always connected to the upper left-hand corner. Now, another thing I'm going to go ahead and do is rename this, and I'm going to name this player info container. And what I like to do now is go ahead and I'm going to add all the things I want in this container. But first I'm going to go ahead and delete this image. And you don't have to do this. Now, you might want to change the image, but I'm going to go ahead and just delete this image component because I don't want to use it. But what you could do actually with that image component is add some sort of like icon or panel that shows your player health and stuff. That's up to you, and that's up to how artistic and stuff you want to get. Will determine how much you do. But basically the idea is, in a lot of RPGs you have like a character icon or a portrait, and then you have your health bar and health numbers, your energy, your level, all that stuff, and that's up to you how you want to design it. But this is a basic way you can do it. So basically I start out with this player info container here, and what I'd like to do is go ahead and create another game object within that, and let's say like text, not text, excuse me. We'll go ahead and do a UI image. I'm gonna, in the hierarchy, I'm gonna drag it onto our player, so the player info container becomes the parent of this image object, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put it here. Now this is like the character portrait. I'm just building this in here. What you can do is in script manually assign what this picture is. So let's say you create this script that says look at the player portrait, or we'll call this actual player portrait. Like that. Yep. Okay. So what you could do is say, hey, look at the container, player info container. Look at its child called player portrait, and then assign a sprite, an image here, a sprite image based on class and race or something. It's up to you what you want to do, but that's how you can do it. If you want that to be a 3D model, I'm not exactly sure how to do that yet. You might have to like create an instance off screen of a tinier like camera. I'm not really sure how to do that, so I can't help you there. I have to definitely think about that, but anyways, we'll continue. I'll think about it. Maybe if you guys know how to do that, write in the comments, because I'm sure some people would like a 3D portrait instead of 2D one. But again, I'm not sure how to do that. So now what we want to do is go ahead and add a health bar and a energy bar. So again, I'm highlighting player info container. I'm going to go ahead to game object UI, and I'm going to add a image. And you could just duplicate that image if you wanted. But what I'm going to do now is resize this image. I'm going to make sure it's actually a child of player info container, which it is now. And yep. So what we'll do now is I'm going to go ahead and make this long like that. I guess I'll attach it for now. And then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to call this player health. We'll call it health bar. And then I'm going to go ahead and highlight that in the hierarchy, and then Control D. That duplicates it, and I'm going to rename this to energy bar. So this is like your mana bar, if you will. And now that when it's highlighted, you can go ahead and drag it. And I'm going to drag it here. I'm going to make it a little different, a little smaller, so it's noticeable, like that. Now, so you can actually kind of see that we have a basic layout here. Now what we want to do is we've anchored our container to the upper left, or to the upper right hand side. So if I go to the game view, you can kind of see this ugly thing here. If I actually change it like this, I pulled it out, I'm going to go ahead and change it, and you'll see that it shrinks everything, which is okay, but it eventually goes off screen, right? Well, you can see that it's actually staying put, excuse me, because the parent is attached, which is what we want. But what you can do to make sure that everything stays put exactly how you want it inside is actually go in here and anchor things based on the you can see basically this anchor right here is in the center. Hopefully you can see that on YouTube. If not, let me know. But basically there's these 4 little arrows, and so this character portrait will center itself based on the player info container. So what you might want to do is go ahead and say, well, I want this anchored here. So right, I'm dragging the upper left hand corner. I want it anchored there. I want it anchored here, and then we want it anchored, let's say like this. So basically what I'm doing is I'm saying anchor around this point. So when we change our scenes, when we change our game size and stuff, it will stay where we want it. It just make it a little more precise. It's up to you. I suggest doing it because maybe later on you'll run into issues. I'm going to go ahead and move these to here. These anchor points. Again, I'm just messing around. You might not want to do this. It's up to you. But basically, these will keep it so our anchors are set properly. So now what we want to do is I want to show you guys how to do a fill type image. So for this, you're actually going to need an image. I have these 2 images down here. They're blue and green. I think I need to go ahead and set them as sprites. So I'm going to change the texture type to sprite. Go ahead and click apply. Going to go ahead and do that for the blue one. I just got these off Google randomly. Google Images. Definitely, if you're going to be publishing your game, don't do that. Make sure you create your own. And again, this is going to be a little bit different if you're going to be creating a whole portrait from the outside and bringing it in, but the same concepts will be there. So what you can do is here we are on our player health bar. You see in this image script over here, this component says source image, it's a sprite, color, it's empty. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is drag this green sprite, and I'm going to drag it to our source image. And you see that it's changed to green, which is great. So in the game view, you can see it's green, looks a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and do that same with the blue one, the energy bar. So like that. And you see in game, we now have an energy bar and our health bar. And now what I want to do is go ahead and add a image, change the image type. The image type right now is simple, set as simple, meaning it's just going to be the flat image. But there's a couple that you have a sliced image, you have a tiled image, which will repeat itself. A sliced image needs a border, which you can do with like a empty portrait, and then filled. Filled is what we're going to be using, and there's a couple of different fills here. You can see that this is in a radial 360, so it maybe you want your health to do that. Maybe you have a circle that you want to do that. So let's say, you create a an image that is a circle, right? Think of like Kingdom Hearts. If you guys have ever played Kingdom Hearts, Sora, the main character, has a circular or radial health bar, and this is a way to do that with this radial 360 here. You can do it. Maybe what you will also want to do, you can check it out. There's 180, so it feels like that, a little different. 90 degrees, so if you want a little different, it fills in like that. And then we have vertical, so it fills in from the top and bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and do horizontal, fills in left to right, right? So this is full health, this is dead. Full health, 0. And again, play around with it. You can definitely change the material. You can make it look different. You can, if you have Unity Pro, you can actually change this so that it reflects light and stuff. It's pretty cool. The next thing, so now what we're going to do is do the same thing with our energy bar here. So we're going to change it to filled, and then we're going to change it to vertical. And you can actually change the origin. So if you want to start at the top, excuse me, I want it horizontal. You can start from left or right. So if you want the energy to fill up like that towards the portrait, it's up to you. Maybe you can even probably make it a setting. You can create a script that says which way you want it. Again, it's all up to you how you want to do it. So if we go in game here, you can actually see it adjusting. Change the enemy health bar like that. Pretty simple. It's not it's not the best, but it gets the job done. So I'm gonna go ahead and set these back to 1, and we're gonna go ahead and add a few more things. So in our scene view here, I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple text objects, and I'm gonna actually attach them to our health bar. For now, I think we might have to change this, but we shouldn't. So basically, under health bar, I'm gonna go ahead and add a game object. UI, and I'm going to add text, and I'm going to go ahead, oh, it didn't child it, but I'm going to go ahead and change it. We'll say player health value, right? So this is our player health number, and you don't need to do this, right? So if you don't want this to be a part of your game, meaning if you only want to show a bar, that's up to you, it's your design. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is add the text here, and I'm going to center it. I'm going to do this. So I've made it the same width. I'm going to go ahead and change the parameters of it. So right now it's set to start at the top. I'm going to set it in the middle, and I'm going to do best fit, I think. So let's say it's 1,000. Yep. So what we'll do is expand it. And I don't think I'm actually going to do best fit. I'm going to go center it, and we're going to go ahead and say I'm going to set this size to, let's say, like 16, maybe. Let's look in the game view. Yeah, 16 works. And so this is just going to represent health. So in the text here, I'm just going to write health value. This will be changed in script, and we'll probably get to that in just a second. Now I'm going to go ahead and just copy, duplicate that. So I'm going to hit Control D. I'm going to go ahead and move it under our energy bar. And in our scene view, I'm going to go ahead and move it. So I'm highlighting it, going to move it. Going to change its size, like so. And I'm going to change this from health value to energy value. And I'm going to change its name to energy value. Like so. So now we have our health value and our energy value. You can go ahead and access these via script, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I did want to show you guys before we move on how to create maybe like a 3D version. So basically what you can do is you can create another canvas. So go to Game Object UI, and you can go ahead and create another canvas, and we're going to call this one 3D canvas. Now I haven't played around a lot with this canvas, so it's going to be a little different, but basically I think you can set it to world space, and in world space it basically creates this other object. You can actually resize it. So we have here a GUI within a GUI. Basically you'd probably have a two of these for your player and enemy, and you can actually disable them and stuff, so like when it's enemy's turn you can see your health values and not theirs or something. But basically what you can do now is using this, you can create I think you can create 3D objects. You might be able to actually create 3D objects. Anyways, so let me restart this. Setting this to world space will allow you to put things over players. So what I mean by this is actually in world space. I can move this, right? So when it's screen overlay, meaning this battle canvas that we created, it's going to fit over the scene, like screen, wherever you put it. But let's say you're doing your 3D game, and you want, let me do something. Let's see. We'll go ahead and create a 3D object here. Create a cube. Okay, there's our cube. I'm going to go ahead and reset it to 0. Click on it again. Okay. So as you see, here's our cube. Our canvas is massive. I'm going to go ahead and resize it. It's going to start out big. So I'm going to go ahead and make it tinier. And I'm going to go ahead and move it. Let me grab it. That was probably not the best idea. Let's see. Up. Like that, I think. Let's see. Oh my goodness, it's so far away. I'm going to go ahead and put the position back to 0, 0, and 0. And it totally reset it, but that's okay. So here you can see our screen space overlay. It's attached to our cube, and what I'm trying to do is show you that you can actually add the health bars and stuff over your player rather than having it flat on the screen. So what I'm getting at is, like, you can have this. Let me go ahead and move it up. Hopefully this is in our camera view. It might not be. I'm going to go ahead and grab the cube, and I'm going to shift our cube over up like that. Okay, so in our 3D canvas here, I'm going to go ahead and add a text object. So we'll say player name. Go in game. We might not be able to see that yet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change the color to black so it's darker so we can see it. And let's see, we want to make it a little tinier. Hopefully we can get it in the game view here. I really want to show you guys. It's pretty cool. So let's see. Why? I am very curious. Okay, so now we have this in game. You can see its player name. I'm going to go ahead and center it, I guess. Oh, we'll put up the left-hand corner. And then you can actually rotate it, so you can make it basically a 3D value here. And this could be the reason. The cube is out of the scene, I think. So go ahead and move it. Oh, there it is. You see it up in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move it. Go ahead and move our game view down here a little bit so I can see it. Let's see. There you go. Now we can see it. Ha! Alright, that's what I wanted to show you guys. So you see how it's basically in 3D space. If I went ahead and added, so like you don't have to have them flat like up in the upper right hand corner here. If you want it to be a little different, if you want to make your game seem, I don't know, a little more up to date or something, you can actually go ahead and make a 3D basically nameplate here. And you can have it attached to the player, so maybe it only shows up when you highlight over the player and stuff. It's up to you. And again, it's 3D, so you can actually rotate values and stuff. So maybe you have it like set like that, player name, and then underneath of it you can duplicate it and put the level and health bars and stuff. And you can actually go ahead, like watch, I'll go ahead and grab this player health bar here. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. I'm going to attach it to our canvas down here. And I'm going to go zoom out. And I'm going to go ahead and grab it. Look at that. So again, this is massive, but I'm going to go ahead and shrink it down. There we go. Let's see. So this is definitely tricky to work with. Don't get me wrong. There's probably a better way to work with this all in 3D space. Probably set it all at the origin and stuff, but since I'm already working with crazy values. But basically what you can do, hopefully you kind of get what I'm doing here, is like you could set up the player health to, here we go, I'm just going to go shrink it. Alright. Voila. Look at this. Basically this is set up so now it actually still works. So like the health builds. Right? It's just in 3D space, it looks a little different. And again, you can attach it to any game object. Doesn't have to be the player, doesn't have to be the enemy, anything you want. Remember, with the new Unity GUI, it's super easy to set up some really interesting, cool 3D GUIs. So keep that in mind. And I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this because I don't want it. Because we're going to be doing a simple 2D, like flat UI here. So now what we're going to do we're going to go ahead and do and work on a little bit is, I guess we'll go ahead and duplicate it. And this will be the enemy one. So in our scene view, let me zoom all the way out. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and click the grid button. Going to shift it over like that. Make sure you change your anchor point to the left hand side, because we're on the left hand side of the screen, and now we have a enemy one. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to enemy like that. Oh, missed the Y. Go ahead and add the Y like that. Now we have enemy and player health bars, and you can see it in game. They're very similar. They're the exact same thing. They're not the prettiest, but hopefully you guys get the idea, and hopefully you can expand upon it. So now what I want to do is quickly show you how to add some stuff in the GUI. So here we have in our, let's see, let me find the script here. We have a battle GUI. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this to our battle canvas, okay? So I dragged and dropped the battle GUI script to the battle canvas. I'm going to go ahead and open that model develop. I'll be sure to zoom in for you all. And here we go. Here you see we have these two buttons that we created, right? And what we want to do now is go ahead and start adding these using these text objects. So the first thing you want to go ahead and do is do using system Unity engine, I think. No, it's just, excuse me, it's just Unity engine. If I can type tonight, goodness, .ui, okay? And what this is going to do, this library is going to allow us to access several new things that we haven't seen yet. And, well, several types, basically the components. So the first one we're going to do is private text. And we're going to set this equal to, excuse me, we're going to set the value to the player name. I'm going to go ahead and comment this string out. And we don't actually have a spot for that. And then I guess next we'll do private text. And we'll do player health. And I'll go ahead and comment this player health out. I'm going to go ahead and set these two up first, and they'll probably bring us to the end of the video this time, but we'll go ahead and continue working on it in the next video. But basically we have player name and level. I'm going to go ahead and actually add a player name spot here. So in our player info container, I'm going to go ahead and grab this text value, this player health value, and I'm going to Control D to duplicate, and I'm going to move it under our player portrait. So I just basically parented, I don't know. Yeah, I parented the text component under player portrait. So now I'm going to move it, and I'm just going to set it right here. Actually, we'll set it up top like that. Oh, we'll do that. Okay. We'll go ahead and say best fit. Right? Okay, so now what's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and assign the player name. So I'm going to set player name. So that'll be the first thing we do. And what we need to do is see how we're accessing player name from our game information script. We're going to be doing the same thing, but first we need to go ahead and get this component. We need to get this text component. And the way you do that is very simple. We're going to go ahead and look for the parent called player info container, and we're going to get its child called player portrait, and we're going to get its child player name. I'm sure there are faster ways to do this. Up to you on how you want to do that. I know it's very simple. It might be hackish, but it gets the job done. I'm not sure the best way to do it either, but I'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about, and then you can tell me a better way. So right now we're going to go ahead and say player name, which is text. Remember, it's a type text component. Player name is going to be equal to our transform, which, remember, we just attached a script to our battle canvas, right? So we're saying we're on this transform. We're just going to say find the child now. So we're on this transform. We're going to say find child, and the child takes a string name, right? And then the string name in this case is player info container. So we're going to say find the child player info container, right? And then we're going to say dot find child again, and this is going to be player portrait, like that. And I spelled portrait wrong. It's AI, right? And then we're going to do one more find child, and that is called player name. And I'll explain what we're doing here in just a second. Okay, so and then we need to go ahead and do get component. That's going to be the text component, and it takes parentheses. Okay, so what we're doing is we're looking at the transform called battle canvas, right? We're looking at this thing, and we're saying, hey, find the child called player info container. Once you find that one, go ahead and find the child called player portrait, and then once you find that, go ahead and find the player name. And then once you find that, we're going to go ahead and look at through all the components. There's 3 of them here, and we're going to get the text component, which we just did. So that's what that line of code does. Hopefully you understand that. Hopefully you get it. There are definitely ways you can do this. You could set a public variable, a public text, I think you could do, where you can drag and drop, or a public game object where you drag and drop the player name, and then you can access it that way. It might be better. I'm not sure how intensive find child is. Since we're doing it at the start, it's only going to do it once, so we're not going to continually doing it. Again, I'm not sure. So now that we have player name, we want to go ahead and do player name dot text, right? So we've accessed this player name. We want to go player name dot text, and we're going to go ahead and set it equal to our game information dot player name. Now, if I remember correctly, we don't have a player name yet. We actually got an issue. Let's go ahead and look at it. Cannot string to UI text. Oh, here. There we go. Alright, so now I don't think we have a player name, so it's going to be empty. And so what we can do is, in our game information script, or excuse me, in our battle state start, we can go ahead and say, hey, game information dot player name is test. Right, so in our determine player vitals, I'm going to go ahead and add this game information dot player name value here, and we're going to go ahead and set this equal to test name. And I just want to show you that it works. Basically, what you need to remember is we didn't set the, I'm just showing you how to implement a battle system. So I haven't showed you how to load in all the information. Basically, all this information will be loaded from a static game object that we've created called game information, but we're not actually saving and loading it this time. So that's why I created that information there. So now if I go ahead and press play, it didn't work. Didn't find the reference. Object reference not set to itself as object. I might have misspelled some. Player info container. Okay, player portrait. What I'm gonna do is copy all. Oh, I can't. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure I spelled all this stuff correctly, because last time I did this, I messed it all up. Player name. Let's see. Copy. Oh, you know, I think it's transform.gameObject. Transform.gameObject.find. No, it's not. Should be it. We'll have to go find out what we're doing wrong. Okay, oh, that's right. Okay, we have attached to our battle GUI, which we don't want. So I'm going to go ahead and remove component from our main camera. And therefore, it should be able to access it. Now we got rid of that error, and now we need to figure out why our player name is not here. And that's most likely because in this battle system, we don't have our game information script. Battle state start. We should be doing that. Oh, you know what? No. I'm sorry, I've confused myself, guys. Prepare battle. Let's make sure we're doing this right. We're saying determine player vitals. So our game information is test name. And I think maybe because it's happening afterwards, we'll go ahead and do put this in our update function. There we go. Okay, so basically what's happening, just to let you know, is when the GUI is called initially at the start, there's nothing's in game information, right? Because we haven't actually called this determine vitals function to set it to test name. So I've went ahead and placed it in our update function. So what happens is when you guys load into this, so say you're in the game world and you click battle, you're gonna have that game information game object already in place. So you're gonna have all this information and it'll load immediately, so you don't have to put it in the update function. But since we're not doing that, since we're just staying in the battle scene for testing purposes, that's why that's happening. So we're actually gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to set up the player health. So we're gonna go ahead and do player text. Player health. Right. Is going to be equal to the same thing. So I'm actually going to go ahead and copy this transform thing, this big thing up here. Going to go ahead and paste it. And now what we need to do is check. So we're going, instead of player portrait, we're going to player health bar. So we want to go say player health bar. Like that. And then player health value is what we want. Yep, player health value. Like so. Oh, let me capital V, and that should be good to go. And now we can go ahead and set the text. So we want to say player, and the health is what you're gonna want that in the update function, because that's gonna change, right? So in our battle states, I'll explain that in a second too. In our battle state, we remember in our battle state start, we determine our vitals, so we actually calculate our health, and we were gonna want to keep that here in our GUI. We want it in the update function because that's going to continually change. So this is a number too, so we need to go .toString. And now we should see, hopefully, if we don't have any errors, which we don't, it's 0. We don't have any health. And that's because we don't set it, I don't believe. Let me make sure. I don't remember. We haven't done this in so long. I'm trying to make sure. We should have health though. We'll go ahead and do debug. Log game information. Player health. I don't want to leave you guys with a broken game. It's not good. Okay, in our console, I went ahead and collapsed it. We can see. Okay, so our player health is 0 because we haven't selected. Okay. Alright, I'm more comfortable with that. I was just making sure that it is actually set to 0. And again, this is because we don't have any vital, like we don't have any, this game information object isn't in the scene. Maybe I can add it to the scene next time so it's a lot easier to mess with. But basically, we're changing our health value and stuff now, which is good. What we want to do now is access this health bar image type. So what you can do is do the same kind of thing. So you can, in our battle GUI, you can say private image, this would be player health image, and then here in the start function you can go player health image is going to be equal to transform. I'm actually going to go ahead and just copy this. It's a lot to copy, so Control C, using arrow keys you can select a lot of information like that. Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste. Now what we're in our info container, we're in player health bar. That's all we need to go, so we don't actually have to go that far, right? So we can go ahead and delete that. And then now we want the image. So now in our update function, we can go say, I think this is how it works. You go player health image dot. We can look at what's in it. So we have calculate. Let's see, color, contrast, enable, fill center, fill amount, which I think is fill amount, right? So fill amount is 0 to 1. So what you want to do is, since it goes 0 to 1, you want to divide your health by your total health, right? So fill amount will be equal to game information health, player health, and it'll be divided by total health. So in this case, it'd just be 1 because we don't have health. So it should be 0, right? So now if I go ahead and set this equal to 1, hopefully you get what I'm saying. So basically your player has, let me set this to 0.5, 0.3. Let me put an F there. Okay. So for the fill amount, the formula is going to be your game information dot player health, which is your current health, and then you can do game information like player total health, like what your total overall health would be. That's what that would go there. Since we haven't calculated out, I don't know. You can actually just go ahead and call the calculate function and get it, or you can save it somewhere. But basically, you have your player health. You're going to divide it by the total max, which will give you a value between 0 and 1, which will adjust your bar. And you're going to do the same thing with your energy, or however you know, if you're doing mana or whatever. That's the same way you'll approach that situation. But anyways, the video's getting kind of long. Hopefully you follow along. Hopefully you kind of understand what we're doing. We're going to go ahead and finish up this GUI, or continue working on it. These videos are taking a lot longer than I thought they would, but there's a lot of stuff I guess I have to go over to keep working on to make it kind of more complete. So I apologize if I'm going too slow for you guys, but it takes a little bit of time to make these videos. So anyways, appreciate all the support. Please like, follow, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, or Facebook. I try to update there on those websites, let you know what I'm up to. And again, appreciate all the comments and the feedback. Please keep it up, and I'll talk to you guys next time.